everyone. So a couple days ago, I went to visit Target. I needed to grab some groceries. But when I left, I ended up having 4 items of clothing that I didn't actually need. This is a good example of the way fast fashion has entered into our society. So according to an article published on the Britannica website in 2024, fast fashion is the fast mass production of inexpensive but low quality clothing that is worn a couple times and then generally just tossed out or replaced. So I've done a lot of research on this topic, and I believe that fast fashion is a serious problem. So today I'm here to convince you to stop participating in fast fashion. First, I'm going to explain the problem. Second, I'm going to explain the cause. And third, I'm going to propose a solution. So first, what even is fast fashion? Why is it a problem? So fast fashion is a problem because of the toll it has on the environment and on laborers. So fast fashion has a very negative impact on the environment. According to an article published by the United Nations Climate Change News in 2018, textile production, especially clothing, produces about 1.2 billion greenhouse gas emissions per year. So this is even more than international flights give. So our clothing contributes more to global warming than when you get on a plane to fly internationally. Also, textiles, especially clothing, are part of plastic pollution. So according to a New York Times article published in 2021, when you wash your clothing, little bits of plastic shed off of it, and they're known as microplastics. And these microplastics end up in the ocean. Apparently, they're a significant source of ocean pollution, maybe even the greatest source. Fast fashion also has a negative impact on laborers. According to this, a good example of this would be the collapse of Rana Plaza. This happened back in 2013. According to it was a garment factory in Bangladesh. According to an article published in the New York Times in 2023, 11,000 people were killed when the 8-story building collapsed. And it gets even worse. A documentary published on YouTube in 2022 explains how workers pointed out the cracks to the management and showed that the building was structurally unsafe, but they were still forced back into it the day of the collapse. Okay, so the fashion industry is costing lives. Okay, now that I've explained why fast fashion is a problem, let's talk about the cause of it. So fast fashion is caused by the way the fashion industry has changed over the last couple of decades and our obsession with cheap clothing. So according to a documentary published on YouTube in 2022, there used to be only like 2 or 3 fashion seasons per year. Now there's something new coming out like pretty much every week. And because of this, if you want to keep up with the latest trends, you have to constantly buy. But you're just getting a bunch of clothes you don't need for a fashion trend that's only going to last like a week, literally. Okay, according to an article published on YouTube, a documentary published on YouTube in 2022, the price of our clothing has gone down since the 1960s when we started outsourcing our clothing into developing countries, because there, the minimum wage is much lower, so clothing companies can get away with underpaying their employees. So we can buy in bulk super inexpensively and it's easy, but we don't see the cost it's having on people in these other countries. Okay, now that I've talked about the cause of fast fashion, let's discuss a solution. So the solution to fast fashion is to change your spending habits and be more conscious of how your choices affect others. So according to an article published on the New York Times in 2022, a good one solution is to thrift and to reuse old clothing. Instead of buying something new when you need it, maybe try to reuse something you already have or remake it, or go to a thrift store and buy secondhand. Or you can go to buy clothing from a fair trade company. Or maybe just reconsider, do you really need that item in the first place, especially if it's too expensive to buy fair trade? According to an article published in the New York Times in 2021, in order to stop your laundry from contributing to plastic pollution, maybe you should invest in a laundry bag or ball that helps filter microplastics out of your laundry as you wash them. So today we discussed I tried to convince you to stop contributing to fast fashion. I explained why fast fashion is a problem. I explained the cause of fast fashion, and I proposed a solution. So I probably shouldn't have bought that clothing at Target. I didn't need it. But now that I have it, I can make decisions so it doesn't go to waste. Like I can make it last a couple years. When I don't need it anymore, I'm going to give it to a thrift store so it can be reused by someone else who needs it. When I want to replace it, I'll either buy fair trade or get it secondhand. I would urge you all now, as you leave after watching this speech, to go look up the True Cost documentary on YouTube to raise awareness and gain more understanding to why this is an issue, because I wasn't able to go over it fully in this speech. And I would also ask you to remember the price. Whenever you choose to buy something, remember that just the price tag doesn't tell you how it is going to affect the environment and how it's affected the people in front of you. And also how it's affected the people who are across the world. So, thank you so much.